What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first week of May 2026, what I'm calling Glou Leader Box. Uh, yeah, it's the name may suggest. It's all the bottles in this month's box are all liter bottles. So you were getting what? Full yeah, 1 liter more this month than you normally get in each month. Because 250 more per bottle, and then you get four of them. So you're getting a full liter more. So you're getting a lot more wine. But yeah, the idea was, when I was putting this all together, I was thinking about the theme for this month. I was in South Carolina, just like I am right now. But it was so hot for some reason. We got this crazy heat spell. It was like in the 90s in beginning of April. And I said, I don't want to think about wine. It's getting too hot already. So the whole idea was, let's focus more on drinking the wine rather than tasting the wine this month. So these are all the wines that are just meant to go back to that hedonistic joy of drinking wine. But per usual, they're not just the porch pounders. So these are all another kind of aim of all this is, the summer's coming up. So if you're looking to get some load up on Case Club before the heat really comes in, so you have these liter formats that you can just have around the house that you can pull out on the porch when your friends come over, families come over, or neighbors come over. So that was kind of the idea. But anyways, all these wines kind of have extra layers there. So if you want to kind of pick it apart and kind of get a little geeky with it, then you can. But in general, this month is really going back to the idea of wine being just fun and delicious and joyful to drink. It's really these are all the bottles that really came out to me as like, oh my God, like I just want to take another sip. So that's kind of just a fun thing to do this month. Another announcement, like tomorrow the Case Club will go live. So all the wines that we tasted last month. So the No Etna box, no Etna Sicily box from last month. So the 4 wines from there, as well as the last 4 bottles that we tasted on Boge box that will all go available and live on Case Club tomorrow. So keep your eye out for that. Besides that, I don't really have any other announcements. So we are tasting this guy today. First liter bottle, also tour stuff. God damn, I love it. 2022 Weingut Darting Durkheimer Nonnengarten Pfalz Riesling Kabinett is what we're tasting. That is a mouthful of German words that I completely mispronounce. But so for any of you there who speaks German, I apologize and feel free to correct my pronunciation this month because or this today because yeah, these are all hard words to pronounce. Anyways, so let's start with the map. Where are we? Come on. There you go. There's a map of Germany. We haven't featured Germany. We've done a German box, and we've had a few German. We've done a Riesling box with a separate German box, and then we've had a few Rieslings that we feature along the way. But we haven't really looked at this map that many times. But when you think about Germany, really, I think, and particularly, us too, just looking at our very first German box, which is a Riesling box. But when I say Riesling box, really, it was all Rieslings from Mosel, particularly the middle Mosel. So, Germans have these 13 different wine producing regions. They're called Anbaugebiete. But really, what's probably the most famous is the Mosel, because they're Riesling. And just finely so. I mean, arguably, they make the best Riesling in the world. They're my favorite styles of Riesling in the world. And they come from right here, particularly the middle of this Mosel area that follows the Mosel River that runs through. But for today's purpose, where we're going is Pfalz. And we've had wines from Nahe, we've had wines from Baden, we've had wines from Württemberg. but we've never really had wines from Pfalz. So this is the first time we're featuring a wine from Pfalz, which is the region right here. So Germany has 13 designated wine growing regions, like I mentioned. Most people think of Mosel first, but the Pfalz is Pfalz is actually Germany's second biggest wine region after Rheinhessen. So Rheinhessen, which is right up here, is the biggest wine producing region. But right after that is Pfalz. And a lot of bulk wine comes out of here. Same thing as a Rheinhessen, as you can imagine. But the image is changing a lot. And there's a lot of quality focused producers that are really putting Pfalz on the map. It's never been a huge, it's never been like a, thought of as just like a bulk wine territory. There's definitely quality wines that has always come out here. But it's getting better and better, and really, it's no longer people think of just Mosel as the Riesling capital. Really, they think of it as Pfalz, and Nahe. And I mean, Nahe has always been there, but yeah, there's a different things that go in there as well. So I also didn't know this until I was doing research for today, but the Pfalz is not only the second biggest wine growing region in Germany, but also in terms of Riesling is concerned. It actually has the country's largest acreage of Riesling. So when you're talking about Riesling, it grows here. And as you can see in this map, like you see Mosel, and then you see everything is white wine. So these yellow kind of arrows indicate white wines. So Riesling, Müller-Thurgau, Elbling, that's what's really known for in Mosel. But look at Pfalz. I mean, look at there are some red wines, there's white wines, and it's a lot more varied. So not only stylistically do you get both red and white and different things, but also a lot of it is because the climate, and a lot of it is really about the different soil types. The soil, Mosel is really known for their slate, that slaty minerality, and then everything's going on that really kind of that flaky rock called slate. But here in Pfalz, I mean, we're talking about limestone, marl, red sandstone, there's clay, there's marl. I mean, there's many, many different alluvial soil. There's many, many different kinds of soil that exist in Pfalz, and that's really what drives this kind of a different, varied varieties to grow there, as well as the climate here is noticeably warmer than Mosel. So to the west of it here is actually actually, I don't know if the next slide will probably show it. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really show much, but so if you look at the Pfalz more closely, these are kind of different sub-regions and places. But on the left, as you can see here, the Hart Hills is a big forested area. So there's a big kind of mountain that goes to the west of Pfalz. And that's what you see here, that between Germany, what divides Germany and France. So this huge mountain area, the forest area, is what blocks a lot of that cold air that comes from, this is Alsace, by the way, on the left. So Alsatian, the Vosges mountain, all the cold air that comes from it, the westerly cold air that comes in, it blocks a lot of that. So it kind of keeps it warm. And then, of course, there's a river on the right that runs through, the Rhine River, which gives the moderating influence. So the weather or the climate here is noticeably warmer than it is in Mosel. Mosel is cold as shit. I mean, it's really continental. It gets bitterly cold in the wintertime, but Pfalz gets a lot of that kind of blockage of the wind, as well as the moderating influence from the river. So it is noticeably a much more livable place. It's a lot more joyful. People think of kind of a Pfalz as the kind of like the more hedonistic kind of a fun place to live. Mosel being this kind of really austere, the German precise, Rieslings and things like that. But here it's sunnier, it's warmer, it's more food driven, it's less formal. So yeah, it's kind of a more fun area, I guess, to be than. And I didn't know this, but apparently the locals here call Pfalz Germany's Tuscany, because it is noticeably drier as well. And then I mean, I won't go as far as calling it Mediterranean climate, but the climate becomes a lot more Mediterranean-esque, evidenced by there's like almond trees and figs and lemons that grow in this part of Pfalz, which is crazy to think about. I never knew that those Mediterranean species will grow in Germany, but apparently they do here in Pfalz because of the microclimate or mesoclimate that's actually. Anyways, for us, by the way, this is where we are. This winery for this week is Bad Durkheim. Bad Durkheim is a spa town. Bad meaning bath. Is that giveaway of about 18,000 people. It is a tiny, tiny town sitting at the kind of geographic heart of the Mittelhart, which is, so as you can see, it kind of divides. This is the Mittelhart, this part right here. This is kind of the highest density of all the Großgewachs, which is essentially a German word for same thing, German equivalent of Grand Cru. So a lot of Grand Cru vineyard sites are right here, situated and grouped right in the Mittelhart, which is the middle of Pfalz region. And right in the middle of that is Bad Dürkheim, and that's where the winery, the wine with darting is, and that's where also the fruit for this comes from. They also host, I didn't know this, and I think I have a picture, pulled a picture. Bad Durkheim hosts a Durkheimer Wurstmarkt, which is officially the world's largest wine festival. It predates Oktoberfest by several hundred years, having been celebrated since 1417. Apparently 500,000 people attend every year. The centerpiece is a giant wine barrel converted into a restaurant seating 450 people, which is what you see right here in this picture. So, hey, if you're ever looking for an excuse to go to Germany, besides Oktoberfest, there you go. The world's biggest wine fest apparently happens right here in Bad Dürkheim. Like I mentioned, soils here are much, much more varied. It diverges decisively from Mosel. For example, like, this particular wine, the vineyard that it comes from, which is the Nonnengarten, that is a all limestone and marl, like a chalky limestone mixture that you talk a lot about in Burgundy. So it's a very, very similar soil type as you find in Burgundy, which is very noticeably different from the soil type of Mosel, because it's, again, it's all slate. The vineyard here, Durkheimer Nonnengarten. Nonnengarten actually means nun's garden in German, name that kind of tells the story. Medieval monastic institutions own much of the best vineyards land in Rhineland, and many of the top sites still carry that kind of names that allude to that. So Nonnengarten, Monk Garden, which is the monk's garden, Cloister Garden, Dome, all these things. But yeah, there's the nuns, I guess, that used to exist in the medieval times. It was their vineyard that they tended to. All south-facing slopes on limestone and marl, classic Mittelhart terrain. The combination of southern exposure, that kind of wind barrier from the west keeps it warm, and then the chalky kind of limestone soil type is exactly what gives Nonnengarten and this wine its kind of signature character. Because Pfalz is much warmer, you're gonna, like, if you were to compare the Riesling style between Pfalz and Mosel, the Mosel is like lighter body, higher acid, more citrus, green apple, less ripe fruit, much more like slaty minerality, very like delicate, ethereal, feather light. That's kind of what Mosel style is. Now, when you come to Pfalz, because it's warmer, you're going to get more fruit, more generous fruit. Even the fruit note goes from citrus and green apple to more like peach and apricot, nectarine, a lot more like a stone fruit, more body. There's even some like a spicy kind of character can come through. And then also the minerality on the thing is a little bit different than the kind of slaty minerality, but it gives a lot more of that limestone minerality, which is that kind of really cut angles on the wine, which is kind of different. But it's not that one is better than the other. I know Mosel kind of gets its all the fame and all the chasing from people, but it's just a different style. For me personally, I like that Mosel really feather-like style. But for people who like more weight, like if you like more of an Alsatian Riesling, I would say this is much closer to Alsatian Riesling than it is to Mosel Riesling, because Alsatian Riesling is also much riper, it's fuller, bigger, it's much more powerful, and with more extract. Now, let's talk about the Kabinett system for a second, because That is something that always gets people kind of tripped up when it comes down to German wine. And how do I stop this from sharing? By the way, this is the winery Ducking. I don't know how to. Where is it? Sorry, give me 1 second. Seem to be. Can't figure out how to. There you go. There you go. All right, so Predicat's vine system. So you see that word Kabinett on the bottom? It says Riesling Kabinett on the bottom. Come on, focus. It says right there. So in case you're wondering what that means. So Germany's quality hierarchy, by the way, German law, wine law is very, very confusing. German hierarchy, like a quality hierarchy, is very, very confusing. So because first and foremost, there are two different kind of systems. There's one that is actually national German government system, just like everywhere else, right? It has the appellation, it has their own kind of a quality system, Grossgeback being Grand Cru, Eisengeback, Grosslage becoming the Grand Cru, Eisenlage being the Premier Cru. So they have their own quality system and all of that. But separately, this is more of a private association. It's a group of private producers came together and put together this quality system, and it's all based on the ripeness level of the grape that you can achieve. Because notoriously, Germany is a very cold place, a very continental climate. Historically, it's been very hard to achieve the ripeness and the sugar level in grapes. So whoever could farm it to more ripeness had better, quote unquote, better grapes. The sugar level basically was the key prime indicator of how well you could farm. And they developed a system called Predicat's vine system. And I'm going to put that in the chat box. But it is all based on measuring sugar content of the grape juice, the must. At harvest, measured in degrees of what I call Austral. Here in US, we measure must sugar level in bricks, but in Germany, they measure it by Austral. But anyways, it's not the final result of how much sugar is in the wine, it's how much sugar was present in the must before you start fermenting that juice. So higher that sugar level was, basically higher up in the Predicat's vine system is. So I put it down right there in the chat box, but the lowest level of ripeness is Kabinett, which is what we have. Much known for much more delicate, lighter, not as body, much lower alcohol, right? It's usually picked earlier. So Kabinett, and then after that is Spätlese, Auslese, Beerenauslese, Trockenbeerenauslese, and Eiswein. So by the time you get to Beerenauslese, even Auslese, you're essentially dealing with botrytis. You're letting the vine berries hang long enough that it's starting to kind of rot to get that botrytis. And then by the time you get to Beerenauslese, and by the time you get to Trockenbeerenauslese, you're literally going over and picking one berry at a time that has been really affected by botrytis. And that's why Trockenbeerenauslese is very, very expensive. And then Eiswein is obviously when you let it hang so long that it actually freezes, and then it freezes water in the grape berries, and then you squeeze that, and all the sugar comes out and super concentrated because the water molecules have been frozen. So that's Eiswein. But anyway, so Predicat's vine system, the quality is divided into this way. Again, just because it is higher on this list does not mean it is quote unquote better. It's just a traditional way of how Germans have graded their wines. Just think of it as Kabinett as it is the entry level Predicat's hierarchy, but it's going to be the lightest in terms of body. And also the wines of Germany are, particularly the Riesling, they can be both dry and also they can be sweet. It can have sugar in it or it can not have sugar. This doesn't have any word. If you're ever looking for a dry wine, oftentimes Germany will have the word Trocken written in it. So I'll write that in the chat box as well. Trocken. Every time you see the word Trocken written on the bottle, the chances are the German Riesling is going to be dry because it's fermented out fully dry. So you can have Kabinett Trocken, Spätlese Trocken, Auslese Trocken, Beerenauslese. You're never going to see Beerenauslese Trocken or Auslese Trocken I have seen. So imagine just because it had a higher sugar level in the mud, so when it was at the harvest time, does not mean the wine is going to be sweeter. Because if it's Trocken, if it's fermented out fully dry, then it's just going to have more alcohol, more weight, more body, but it's still going to be dry. So, and then I'm going to write, I should write that Trocken means dry. And then if you ever get Halbtrocken, that means not dry. That's half dry. So usually if you see Trocken, it means the wine is dry, regardless whether you see Kabinett, Spätlese, Auslese. If you see Halbtrocken, means it's not dry, meaning it's going to have some sugar in it. Or if you don't see neither one of those words, the good bet to have with the German Riesling is that it's almost always going to be a little bit of sugar. So the German Riesling, Germans like their Rieslings with a little bit of sugar. It's just their style. You know, you go to other places, like you go to Alsace, you go to Australia. There are places where Austria even. You can, if you don't see anything, the default mode is you can assume that the wine is dry. But here in Germany, I think default mode, you should think of it as that it's always going to have some level of sugar, unless you see the word Trocken or dry on the label. So that's one way to think about it. And again, Kabinett is not lesser. It is just lighter, lower alcohol, higher tension, more delicate. Quite frankly, for me, I prefer Kabinett more than any other style because I like that kind of feather light Riesling. But yeah, and then some of the, for you Riesling heads out there, you know, the names like Kunstler, Keller, Edam Muller, which are like the world-renowned Riesling producers. They're the ones who really put kind of Kabinett, like really show that Kabinett can be something very, very dramatically even better than the other higher hierarchy of a Predicast fine wines. So, all right, let's talk about who makes this wine. By the way, any questions about that Predicast fine system? I know that can be confusing. Okay, cool. I know it's not the first time we are going over this, so maybe you guys are all experts by now in German wines. All right. This is the guy. His name is Helmut Darting. The Darting family has been growing grapes in Bad Durkheimer since 1780. So they've been doing it for a long, long time. For most of those 2 centuries, they sold their fruit to others. And it wasn't until like 1989, just 35 years ago, that they began bottling and selling their own wine. But you know, the first 200 years or so is really them working in the vineyard. So they were really farmers before anything else. And again, it really shows in terms of, I'm going to tell you a story about this how difficult this 2022 vintage was. And this goes to show how good at farming that they really are. They run one of the most respected wine nurseries, again, having been farmers for a long time in Germany alongside the winery. And you know, they're selecting, they're grafting, they're selling vine throughout the country. Not only there, they also sell it across Europe. So it's not just a side business. A lot of times when you see wineries have their own nurseries, it's really for themselves. You know, they want to propagate, you know, they do Mosel selection, which is they take the best vine in that vineyard and then propagate that along and then plant that back in that land, because obviously they've done the best in that particular piece of parcel. That's called Mosel selection. So usually the nurseries are a place for them to do things like that. But here at Darting, you know, it's not just a psychic, you know, it is truly a kind of deep scientific kind of engagement with viticulture at the like, genetic level. So, I mean, Helmut Darting and his family has been studying grapevines at a DNA level for a long, long time. Helmut trained under Hans Gunther Schwartz. I know that's a mouthful of German name, at Müller-Kator. In case you don't know who Müller-Kator is, it is one of the most coveted kind of wine producer in Germany, in Pfalz, from here, Pfalz. I actually have a bottle of their Trockenbeerenauslese that I've had in my possession since, I don't know, I was like 25. I still haven't opened it, but it is, they have like a very German label. It's like always a white label with a black eagle in the front. Yeah, anyways, Müller. So he did the apprenticeship under Hans Gunther Schwarz at Müller, and then he came out and went back to his own winery and then started making wine. His guiding principle is basically every time you handle a wine, you diminish it. Is quote unquote what he said on his website. It's basically he makes all of his wine very reductively, which is a very typical style of wine making here in Pfalz as well as in Mosel. But his reductive winemaking approach flows directly from this conviction. So ferment as slowly as possible at cold temperature, use only natural yeast, introduce zero oxygen into the process, and handle the wine as few times as possible between fermentation and bottle is kind of his philosophy. He now farms 24 to 25 hectares across some of the best single vineyards sites in Bad Durkheimer and also surrounding villages that you saw on the map. And then I also wanted to point this out. Basically, a lot of times that I have featured German Riesling on this wine club, oftentimes it's been imported by Spätlese, which is in the back label, it says right there. I mean, Spätlese is a very, very well-respected importer. They import all kinds of wines. But I do think that their German portfolio is some of the best in the country, one of the best in the country. So if you are into German Riesling, if you're into German wines in general, it's a good bet that if you see a Skernick label in the back as an importer, it's probably a good bet that they're going to have a good wine, a good German wine. So, I mean, anytime you see a Skernick in the back, you can bet it's probably a good wine. I really do like their book, but particularly when it comes to German wines, I really do think they bring some of the best quality German producers out of Germany. All right. So what is this wine? This is 100% Riesling from Durkheimer, Nonnengarten. That name also. So this is from Bad Durkheim. And then anytime you see ER in a German word afterwards, so like Durkheim, Durkheimer, you see that a lot in German bottles. ER just means of whatever that comes before. So Durkheimer means it's from Durkheim. So it's of Durkheim. So Nonnengarten is a nun's garden, is the name of the vineyard. So Durkheimer Nonnengarten is a nun's garden from Durkheim, is a literal translation of that word. And then a lot of German vineyards that are noted on the label kind of follows that format. It has a name of the village where it comes from as ER at the end, and then it puts the name of the vineyard after that. So 100% Riesling from Durkheimer Nonnengarten, vineyard grown on limestone and marl. Here, so let me tell you a story about the 2022 vintage. It's a bit of a miracle what happened. So 2022 was a very, very challenging, difficult year in Germany. So it was the driest year on record in Germany. Apparently there was no meaningful rain from May through all the way through July. So basically for 3 months, they didn't get any rain. Also, they had one of the hottest summer on record. So temperature soared. So vines kind of went into the survival mode in peak summer heat. So that they were not photosynthesizing. They were not accumulating sugar or acid. They were just trying to stay alive. They were just stuck in this kind of vegetative state. And the growers are expecting the worst. They thought there was going to be like these spiky, unbalanced wine, kind of racing alcohol, and then flabby acidity. They thought it was going to be a terrible year. But then in early September, the rain came. And this was kind of the big kind of a savior or the saving moment. So all those tiny kind of drought stressed berries apparently just swelled up with water because they were thirsty. Rain came, it sucked up all the water. The sugar levels dropped back towards Kabinett range just because of all the sugar that was concentrated in those tiny berries, and the water came in, diluted all that down. Oftentimes having rain right before harvest is a bad thing. Nobody wants that because they don't want the berries to kind of swallow up the water and diluting all of it. But in this case, because it was so drought stressed and there's no water and it was so tiny, in fact that they actually soaked up all that water and diluted down and then dilute some of the sugar back down was actually a good thing. Also, the berry skins and it was toughened and got thicker by the dry summer. It resisted rot even though the rain came later. So harvest was even though it was no rain, some of the hottest, and it had the earliest harvest on record, Riesling in early September in Germany. And the window was really tight, so they had to pick fast, and then they had to basically go between rain showers and get it as much as they can. So yeah, it was an extreme kind of vintage, but they're able to obtain this kind of generous fruit, fresh character, perhaps slightly less acid than cooler vintages, but nonetheless still very fresh, ton of generous fruit, really expressive, and then beautifully balanced with that acid. So it's a small miracle that they were able to kind of produce this fine Kabinett in such extremely hot, dry year. When it's really that hot and dry, the Kabinett usually they either don't make it at all or they make very little of it because it's really hard to make Kabinett when it gets that hot because the sugar spikes just so quickly. So they just end up skipping Kabinett and go to Spätlese and Auslese because of the sugar level is too high. So again, this this is what I was saying about the first 200 years of family history where they're farmers. They just farmed this land for 200 years. They really got to know what it does, and the fact that they were able to save it and make this level, this kind of a style Kabinett from such a hot, dry vintage is a pretty skillful thing to pull off. Anyways, so yeah, this is 100% Riesling, fermented cold and slow in stainless steel with natural yeast. Reductive technique, again, no oxygen introduction at any point. Everything is done in stainless steel. There is a light filtration, and then it's bottled. No fining, but just a light filtration, and then some sulfites, and bottled in the classic 1 liter German format. Is basically what you're here. Whew. All right. Any questions about any of that before we get into tasting? Excellent. And also, maybe I should have warned you, but first 2 weeks of this month are wines with sugar. I know you Americans are afraid of sugar in your wines, but it's delicious. So, all right, let's taste it. Where did it go? There you go. Who wants to take the appearance?
I can do appearance. Sorry.
All right.
Let me go back to there we go. Sorry, I'm on my phone because my iPad doesn't work. Okay. So I think this is pretty clear.
This wine is clear.
Pale. I would say it's on the pale side.
Yeah, agreed. And oftentimes that's what you're gonna find with the Kabinett Riesling. You're just not gonna. There's no skin contact here. They're picked kind of early. Yeah, you're not even to a point where you're gonna see some like some of these Kabinetts are almost like watery in terms of like almost no color. This one does have a little bit of color, but yeah, I still would not give it more than pale.
I mean, yeah, pale. I mean, but then when you're looking at it, I mean, when I look at the color, it's kind of lemony, like more lemon.
Yeah. Totally.
So maybe pale plus because there is color here, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't go all the way to medium, but I'll call this about.
Yeah, no, not medium, but yeah, but there is like when you
maybe pale plus, medium minus.
kind of look. Maybe it's just my lighting too, which is terrible. And then I don't see. Oh, well, I have, and maybe it's just because of the humidity in my space, but I see a couple of little bubbles, but
Yeah, I mean, I see some bubbles and that just may be from stirring it, but I don't see any
Yeah,
bubbles coming
I
off the wine.
yeah, I think it just might
Yeah.
be my environment.
Okay. Coco, you get to pick the next person for the news.
All right, let me go back to where is everyone? Um, Margaret and Kyler, if you're there.
Yeah, we're here. Sorry, took a little while to get to unmute.
We also need to get more wine.
We need more wine. So, hold on a second.
All right.
No, it's not. It's right there. Yeah, these are big boys.
Summer's coming.
Indeed.
No.
No, okay. Which one? Sorry.
God, I miss Riesling. I
Okay.
haven't had Riesling in a
Okay.
while. All right.
All right.
News.
Clean.
This is
Yeah.
clean. Yeah, this is clean. This is sound. Intensity.
I'm trying to. Hold on. Medium.
Yeah, mine is like literally just off the rim. So I'm gonna call this about medium. Also, full disclosure, my bottle has been open for a week, by the way. And it smells still just fine. It's drinking just fine. But I was curious about the intensity, whether it's lost a little intensity. But if you guys are also getting medium, then just go with me. But yeah, right now my one is still
Yeah, it's not coming much off the glass at all. That's why it wouldn't be medium.
yeah, maybe
I'd
like an
call
inch
it
off
like
the rim.
maybe a hair over medium, but
Oh, yeah,
definitely
yeah.
not medium.
Yeah.
plus.
All right, so let's go with the medium. Medium plus intense aromas. Ooh, what do you got?
Lots of floral. I mean,
Some floral, yeah.
honeysuckle. I mean, we got honeysuckle and
Yeah.
it's like flowers, like kind of just blooming. So
Yeah, there's some honeysuckle. I guess some like a jasmine kind of too, like a white, like a really perfumey flower. Yeah, definitely. They're
maybe a
pretty
little bit
solid.
of apple-esque.
Yep. I guess some green apple, even some yellow apple, but like, yeah, get some green. I mean apple for sure. Any citrus?
Mm. Probably just the acid, but I'm thinking like lemon and lime.
I get some lime here, actually, honestly. I get a little bit of I mean, to me, this is where, I mean, Riesling has a very, unique, distinctive aroma bouquet profile, particularly more than anything that really sticks out. Like, there are not many grape varieties that really spit out lime. Like, to me, a lot of white grapes are like lemon, but to me, Riesling really expresses itself. It's like a lime, more the green, that lime category. Definitely get some of that lime skin lime. Stone fruit.
Your turn.
I'm terrible at this. I don't think so. I mean, it's getting like feels a little peach or apricot, but that could also be just it's similar in a lot of ways to the floral, I think.
Yeah, I think it's easy to confuse the floral and the stone here, but I definitely get some stone fruit. Like to me, there's definitely some like peachy, yeah, peach vibe to here. Apricots, peachy, some sort of like stone fruit vibe here, for sure. Absolutely. Any tropical? And also going back to the stone fruit, I mean, that's kind of what sets Pfalz apart from Mosel earlier. Like Mosel, this would be a lot more austere. Like you're gonna get, I mean, that will have some floral just because Riesling is just naturally has some flower running through, but it's gonna be less floral, a lot more green, a lot more citrus, and just a lot less of this bright kind of stone fruit thing. And to me, that this Pfalz definitely has some of that, like a much more warmer vibe to it. So yeah, definitely some peach, apricot kind of thing. Any tropical?
Could maybe say a little passion fruit,
Okay, you see
but
that.
probably not much.
Yeah. Yeah, not a whole lot of tropical for me, but I can see what you're saying about passion fruit. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
it's that sweet floral aroma. I think is kind
yeah,
of giving that kind of sense.
exactly. Exactly. Uh, red fruit, black fruit?
No.
Mhm.
Nope. Nature of the fruit. Is this cooked? Is this underripe, overripe?
I feel cooked, but could just be the day. I don't know. Just cooked from the day. I don't know.
You're cooked. This feels pretty fresh to me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is really fresh, like really
Yeah.
ripe. There's nothing underripe. It's just like really, really ripe, fresh kind of fruit here. Yeah. Any herbaceous, any herbal, any green things?
No, I'm not getting any.
You neither.
Not terribly.
Uh,
Yeah.
Any pungent spice? Any rockiness?
No, I'm terrible at smelling rockiness.
She's looking at me for a lot of these, so
Yeah,
I
I'm
might
not
shake my
okay.
head.
I don't get much spice here. As far as the rockiness goes, though, I do get a little bit like crushed rock, a little bit like maybe Whetstone. It's not the
There could
slate,
be,
it's not
yeah.
like the gunflint, like with the Mosel, sometimes it smells like if you had like lit, if you had turned on like a lighter and like smelled it afterwards, that like that flinty smell. Like you can get that, but like I don't get that here. Like this is more of like just like a crushed rock. There's some rockiness here, but it's not the same kind of profile as the Mosel. And another thing that I will say while I'm on that note, and this is not listed here, uh, it blew off, and I don't get much of it now. But there's with the Riesling, particularly reductive Riesling, you get this thing called TDN, which is a chemical compound. With aging, it basically turns into that petrol smell. So like the bottle aged Riesling gets that like gasoline, petrol station kind of a smell. But before it turns into that, the precursor to that is this chemical compound called TDN. Um, and I smelled it on this one when I first opened it. It almost smells like kind of like that like if you ever seen the movie Saw, like the garden cut, freshly cut garden hose. There's a little bit like plasticky underneath,
Yeah.
like the underneath smell of the umbrella when you first open it. New fresh like toy, like a plastic toy.
The
Some of
tennis
that
ball. I
stuff
think the
smells
one I
like
remember from that documentary show, whatever, was like the freshly opened tennis balls. He's like fresh tennis balls.
yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. I definitely got some on this wine. It's kind of blown off in my glass right now. But when I first opened this wine, like there's a ton of it just like stealing out of it. Particularly this being again reductive Riesling with the oxidative Riesling. A lot of the TDN can kind of blow off, or it can get I don't want to say melt, but it's like it gets harmonized into the wine. But here it was really noticeable when I first opened it. So I just wanted to put that out there. So in case anybody else who kind of thought that there's some like a plasticky kind of a smell to this wine when you first smelled it, it's that is what we're talking about. All right. Any secondary, any tertiary?
No.
No, very fresh. Very fresh.
Yeah,
All right, good job. You get to pick the next person for the palate.
Oh, should I do Sarah and Andrew because we always tag team each other.
We knew it was coming. It's fine. We basically just finished the bottle, so like into our glasses, so we're ready.
Perfect. Sweetness.
It's a little
Medium sweet?
off. I was gonna say off dry,
Yeah.
You think off dry? It's got
I
added
don't know.
sugar, doesn't it?
but I don't know. I
I
don't
would
think it's
still
like
call
a.
this off dry. Because again, you got to look at this thing from entire world of wine. So when
Yeah.
you get to luscious, we're talking about like 600 grams per liter. So I actually looked at this tech sheet actually had the amount of sugar that's on this thing. And the fact that it is that high is shocking to me. But this is about 34 grams per liter is what's left here.
Okay.
Kabinett usually starts, the harvest weight, must weight is about anywhere between like 62 to 72, somewhere in that grams per liter. And how much residual sugar they leave behind is really up to the winemaker, their decision. But to me, there's no way I would guess that they left almost half that sugar still left on this wine. But it is, according to the tech sheet, there's about like 34, 32, 34, somewhere around there, grams per liter of sugar left on here. Having said that, so again, if you're looking at dry being 0, luscious sweet being 600, 34 is still very, very low when you look at the entire spectrum of the world. That's the wines that are produced. And Kabinett is usually off there. So Kabinett is off dry. Think of it like Spätlese being medium dry. Again, it all depends on how much residual sugar that the producer leaves behind. But Auslese usually gets into medium sweet territory and on and on. But yeah, so in the grain spectrum of the world, I would still call this off dry. It can get much sweeter than this.
You're ever gonna find a 600 milligram bottle of wine for us to taste? It's luscious.
A luscious bottle.
It may be one bottle for the entire month if I were to do that. Like Pokayazu, like 5 Putonio, that will get up to like 600. Hungarian dessert wine, that will get up to like 600 grams per liter. But that one bottle will be my budget for the entire month. And it would be like a 350, like half bottle, not even a full 750. All right, let's get to acidity. Where's the acid on this thing?
Medium minus.
I'd say medium.
You think acid on this thing is medium minus?
No, I say medium.
Holy
I
shit.
don't know. It doesn't feel very acidic to me.
No, it's acidic.
Wow.
Maybe comparatively speaking.
So again, no, but what you're alluding to is perfect to talk about. So in the grand spectrum of things, like I'm still watering, like my jaw is still pulling. I don't call this high acid. So Riesling, just in general, just naturally has just shit ton of acid. It's a very, very high acid grade. But what's beautiful about what you guys are talking about and why it comes off medium minus and acid seems to be so low is, again, this balancing act between sugar and acid. Because Andrew, you're talking about like, how could this be off dry? This got to be at least medium dry, maybe if not medium sweet. There's so much sugar in it, right? Because of that sugar, the acid actually seems low. And then it's vice versa as well. Because the acid on this thing is so screaming high, the 34 grams per liter of sugar actually doesn't seem all that sweet to me. Like this, because if you were to take just water and then put 34 grams of sugar in 1 liter of water and you tasted that, it would be sickeningly sweet. Well, maybe not sickening. It all depends on what your threshold for sugar is, but it will come off so much sweeter than what you feel it here. And that's why earlier I said I cannot believe that the actual residual sugar on this wine is 34 grams per liter. I would have thought it was much lower. It's because that acid is so high. So you can look at it either way. Like you can be like, wait, the acid here seems very low because the sugar is quite high. Because of that sugar, or the sugar seems not as sweet as it actually should be because the acid is so high. So it's that balancing act is what Riesling producers are trying to do here with this Kabinett. So the fact that you call this medium minus acid is fucking crazy. Like that's awesome. Because
I see what you're saying though. I guess like I think you're right. Like I think the sugar kind of tricked my taste buds a little bit.
Yeah, and I say this all the time. I mean, next time, just try this at home. Next time you have like a lemon, you use lemon for cooking or whatever, you have lemon in your hand, or next time you go to a bar, ask the bartender, ask a wedge of lemon and ask for some sugar. And just taste it separately, first of all. Taste the sugar or taste the lemon on its own, just to see how acidic it is, how tart it is. Taste the sugars to see how sweet it is. And afterwards, dip the lemon wedge in the sugar, coat both sides, and then bite into it. And then just pay attention to like what that feels like. You'll be shocked at how less aggressive that lemon feels, and or how non-sweet that sugar feels, even though you coated both sides, you coated the entire fucking thing in sugar. It's the same thing that's happening here. But yeah, if you just like if you try to ignore everything else, the sugar, flavor, whatnot, and you just pay attention to acid, like wherever you feel acid, like I feel like my jaw is still pulling. Like this acid on this thing is ripping. So cool. Anyway, thank you for giving me an opportunity to go off on acid and sugar. Tannin. We don't have to talk about tannin. Alcohol.
Ooh.
Let's try it.
I don't know. I'm bad at this one. I mean, I'm also apparently bad at acidity too, but
I mean, this is
12 and a half to 12 and a half to 13.
12 and 13. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe 12 and a half, maybe.
it doesn't feel very alcohol-y to me.
Right. Exactly. So let's look at it.
Not
It's 10 and a half.
10 and a half. Oh,
Yeah. So we're
I feel like
talking
it's more than
about like low, medium minus. It's borderline low. You know, low is basically, 10 and below. So we're at 10 and a half, right at the cutoff to low. So low to medium minus is basically where we are here. And with the Kabinett level, that's what you expect, because you're picking early enough that the must weight sugar level is so low that you cannot get it past a certain limit. And just in general with the Riesling, you're never gonna find Riesling that is going beyond like probably 14. German Riesling is gonna go beyond like 14%, 13.5%. Even Auslese and all that, there's so much sugar left, the residual, they're not fermenting out a complete dry. So you're always going to be kind of in the at most medium. You rarely ever go medium pluses. At most medium is what you find with the German Riesling. So 10 and a half is what we have here. So again, help you kind of calibrate your senses. This is what 10 and a half feels like in your body. But you're right, it's very low. It doesn't feel all that. Body.
It's a little thick, I feel like.
Agreed. It's got a little bit of weight, right?
Yeah, like so definitely medium plus.
You call it medium plus? You think it's that thick?
I don't think you think it's that thick?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes. It's not, I mean, compared to like others, I feel like this is on the thicker end of things
Agreed.
that we drink.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this a medium, but yeah, I think this is definitely getting into that higher body, fuller body range here. And this is again that stylistic difference between Mosel and Pfalz. So Mosel Riesling, and we actually feature when we did, you guys, I don't think you guys were around, sorry, Andrew, the very first time we did Riesling box, when we did all middle Mosel Rieslings at 4 different sugar levels, or at 4 different predicates levels that we were talking about. The Kabinett was feather light. I mean, we called it light. I mean, it was like water. It has so much flavor, so much intensity, but the body was so much light, so light. I mean, it was like 7.5% alcohol. I mean, it's very, very light. And that's very Mosel, kind of a typical Mosel representation for Kabinett. Here, not even though it's the same Kabinett, the body here gets fuller, right? And that's false because it's just fuller, it's warmer here. So that's what, like if we were blind tasting, and then if we were trying to decide whether this Riesling was, like if we got to Germany because it's sweet, it's got that like either slaty or very mineral driven kind of a minerality. and we're trying to decide whether it's like, is this Pfalz or is this Mosel or Rheinhessen or whatnot. It's usually what you're looking at is the body is what it comes out to. And the Pfalz Riesling is always going to have more body than Mosel. So if this was a Mosel Kabinett, we would be talking about medium minus, maybe light. But the fact that you're calling this medium plus is an indicator that you are seeing the body. There's a fuller body in this wine, which is perfect. Moose, we don't have to talk about flavor intensity.
I think it's pretty. It's there. It's like
Yeah,
That's pretty.
it's very expressive, right?
yeah, yeah.
There's no mistaking it. It's not shy. I'll call this medium plus, if not pronounced. This is very, very expressive. What do you get? I'll call this medium plus. I won't go as far as pronounced. There's some even more intensely flavored Rieslings out there. So to do them justice, I'm gonna call this medium plus. Do you confirm everything that
Tyler, Margaret.
yeah. I was like, what Kyla and Margaret called that?
Yeah, definitely some like honeysuckle.
Yeah.
I don't know that I know what other flowers taste like. Well, I guess I sort of do. Rose, no rose though.
Yeah.
Honeysuckle for sure. No chamomile to me.
Yeah, no
I
chamomile.
can see that.
To me, this is like very sweet smelling flowers, like honeysuckle, like jasmine is something I mentioned.
Oh, jasmine. Yeah.
It's like white, sweet smelling flowers as well.
Yeah. Maybe like not a magnolia, but like kind of like that,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sickly sweet kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
To bring in the South for you. Definitely some like apple,
Yeah. Definitely
green
some
and
grains,
yellow.
green, yellow. Yep.
Maybe a little, maybe a
Lemon, peach.
no. What were you talking about? Lime? I was like, why are you talking about? I don't.
Yeah, I was talking about lime. I get a little bit like orange, like here as well, but lime, like when I first tasted this, and also this may be where that 1 week of aging in bottle for my bottle may have taken place. But when I first tasted this wine, when I first cracked open, when I was tasting this, and I was like, this is adult limeade. Like this just tastes like it's a lemonade if I made it with lime. Like, this is what it would taste like.
Also known as limeade.
But yeah, like to me, when I was tasting it just right now, there's a little bit like an orangey kind of flavor. So like citrus profile changed a little bit, I guess, since last week to this week. But I still do get lime, but there's a maybe touch of like orangey kind of a thing. But yeah, to me, Riesling always more so than lemon, like it goes to lime, like citrus profile.
Yeah. Maybe some. I get the passion fruit maybe, but no real. Maybe like it's been a long time since I've had some lychee, but maybe lychee.
Yeah, you
No.
get lychee.
I don't know.
No.
I just don't remember what lychee tastes like.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, lychee is a very distinctive, like
No, I don't
unique
think
kind
that
of
shit's in here.
Maybe also because I'm Asian, I just know lychee. But, yeah, to me, like Gewürz is like about the only wine grape that really produces lychee-like smell. Like, I mean, that one's like literally smelling like a can of lychee.
Yeah.
But I don't get much lychee on this thing, but I definitely do get like that kind of passion fruit. I think that's actually a good call. Do you get some like stone fruit, like
Yep.
again, the peachy kind of apricot-y, not
Yep.
less apricot, but more peach is what I get. Peach,
Yeah.
nectarine kind of thing going on here.
Definitely peach.
Yeah. Red fruit, black fruit, we're not talking about, but yeah. So another thing was like there was no herbaceous, nothing green, everything was really fresh and ripe. How's the fruit character for you guys here?
Very like ripe.
Yeah, super fresh.
Yeah, fresh, but like ripe.
Yeah, really ripe. Again, really cool, south facing, warm place, ripeness. The fact that they can get it to this ripeness in Germany is pretty amazing. I've never been to Pfalz, but now I really want to check out Pfalz. I was like, that sounds amazing. Like a little Tuscany in Germany. Sounds amazing. Any minerality?
Yeah,
Yep.
the whetstones or things like that. Definitely there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely got some whetstone. I definitely get some stony minerality here. Pillow wet concrete. I think that's a good we call
Yeah.
this whetstone, wet concrete. Okay. Any secondary, any tertiary?
No.
One thing I do want to point out, and then it's because I just poured myself a second glass. There's a lot of dissolved CO2. It blows away quite a bit, quite fast, but when I first poured it, there's a little bit of prickly on the tongue. Which keeps it really even more refreshing and all of that. Again, very reductive, so no oxygen. Stainless steel, no chance for CO2 to really escape. Obviously, I wouldn't call it sparkling, but there's definitely some prickly dissolved CO2 on this thing, which is actually lovely. With this style of Riesling, I think it's actually a lovely thing. Any secondary, any tertiary?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Finally, the length. How long is the finish?
I'm pretty long. I get medium plus.
Yeah. Like for me, this is like right at the cutoff at the medium and medium plus. I'm not like quite convinced to go to medium plus, but it's definitely at least medium, if not a little longer going towards medium plus. But yeah, it's not short. Let's put it that way. Cool. Let's put it all together. Bring it home for us. How good is this wine? Justify it. Would you age it?
I think it is. We had like not a lot on the nose in terms of can't remember the word. Coming off the glass. What's the word for that?
Intensity?
Intensity, yeah.
Yeah.
Like nose.
So we call it medium on the nose. But
Yeah.
you called it medium plus on the palate.
Uh-huh.
Right? So somewhere between medium plus intensity. Complexity, what would you call it?
I feel like it was relatively complex in the white fruit
Yeah.
Agreed, right?
area.
No secondary, no tertiary, but we had flower, we had green fruit, citrus fruit, we had stone fruit, we had minerality, like good amount of primary things. So at least medium, right? Like,
Yeah.
So like, yeah, medium. So medium complexity, medium to medium plus intensity, and then the finish, you called it medium plus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I call it somewhere medium, but let's say medium to medium plus, definitely leaning up. So let's call it medium plus. So we got balance. We didn't go through that. Do you think this wine is balanced first and foremost?
Yeah.
I mean, you call acid. If anything, I was going to say the acid here some may think that it's out of balance, but because of sugar, I think.
Because I didn't notice it.
But you didn't even notice it. Like I think it's an argument to say this is well balanced. Right?
Yeah.
The balance, we call it medium to medium plus concentration, medium complexity, and then medium to medium plus length. Now, when you take average of all of that, where do we land?
Good to very good, and I always feel generous, so
There you go.
very good.
We're landing somewhere between medium to medium plus, good and very good. And we had two things that are between good and very good, and one thing that's medium, and also being generous tasters that we're going to call this very good. Now, level of drinking and potential for aging. Would you age this wine?
I guess you could. It's very
Why?
because it's got a lot of acid.
Structure.
Just I can't remember whether sugar makes it ageable or not ageable.
Sugar itself is not necessarily it's not a factor in aging.
Oh, okay.
But the acid having a good structure backbone is good. We call intensity, right? Amount of things that can change that are in the wine. We called it medium to medium plus on the palate, medium to medium plus on the nose. So decent. And then it already had all these things going on, but by aging and then just knowing how well Riesling ages, I think this wine is perfectly delicious right now. It's fresh, it's vibrant, it's energetic with so much acid and some of the CO2. It makes it really poppy and bright and vibe, feels alive. But knowing that acid backbone and how well it ages, I think this wine can easily age 10 years, 8 to 10. Easily.
Wow.
I don't, some of the oldest aged, actually the oldest aged white wine in the world is Riesling, and it's from like 1700s. I mean, who knows if the wine is still good or not? But I mean, just to give you an idea of like these German producers that have been making wines since 1700s, they have family catalog, family back reserve wines, library wines that go back to like 1800s and like early 1900s, and they're still there, and they're still popping it open and drinking it. Like that's how well Riesling ages, because of not only the acid, but there's some research and some debate about that TDN that we're talking about earlier. Not only does it develop to the petrol, really adding complexity and all of that, but it may actually play a role in helping a Riesling stay really stable during aging. It's not conclusive, but there's some of that happening as well. So Riesling is one of the most age-worthy or ageable white wine out there. So knowing that, I think this wine can easily age, I don't know, 8 to 10. I think it would be really interesting to see where this wine is in like 8 years, 10 years. Like this maybe have a lot of like petrol complexity laid to it, and all of that. But knowing Kabinett level, what it is never, Kabinett is not meant to be the one that ages the longest. But I do think that this is not wine that's not going to fall apart in the next 8 to 10 years. I don't think that. But I think it's also perfectly fine to drink it now. Cool. Good job, everyone. I know we haven't tasted like a off-dry wine in a while, so there's probably a lot of curveball with a sweetness level, a lot of acidity. Also, this is like screaming acid, and then this kind of profile of expressive wine in a while. So, good job, everyone. Just out of curiosity, did you guys like this one?
Yeah.
Did the sugar not bother you guys?
We liked it.
What did
Obviously.
you guys eat with this thing? Did you guys eat with anything, or were you guys just drinking it?
I was
I'm
eating
curious.
sushi.
Sushi, okay.
Sushi. It was pretty
Did it
good.
work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, so Kabinett level Riesling and sushi is actually from what I hear. I have tried it. It is a good pairing.
Mhm.
It can be a good pairing. Not all sushi I think it works, but it can be a
Yeah.
really good pairing. But I just personally prefer more of a dry beverage for sushi, and also like sushi is an interesting thing. And then I remember talking to a Sam who worked at a sushi bar, and he said, for me, because usually when as a Sam in a restaurant, when we think about pairing, we're thinking about either supplementing or contrasting. So like
Mm-hmm.
have an acid, something completely different to cut through the fat, right? Something
Mhm.
light and refreshing, cut through the richness. Or you build on a flavor and you push it further, right? Like creamy sauce with like a Chardonnay or something, or like an oak aged, like a different wine, Sauvignon or something like that. But with the sushi, it's like my approach is completely different, because their feeling is meant to be like a palate cleanser. It's not necessary to add flavors to sushi or pair it, but it's more of to get the palate ready for the next flavor that's about to come through. So things like Riesling can be almost too much. It's too flavorful. It's like there's so much going on that I actually don't like doing it. But the flavor wise, it could work. Like those things actually.
Yeah, it seemed to work. It was what I had in the fridge. It was leftover. So,
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
it actually made the leftover sushi taste better.
Did anybody do anything spicy food by any chance?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, if you have any wine left over, I highly recommend you try some because
So it was spicy? Okay.
yeah, like
Because I have a
Central-
lot left over. I just was only planning on having a few glasses because I have to be
Also-
on it tomorrow. But
Also,
so
Dana, it's
tomorrow night.
10.5%. You can drink this again.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. When you said 10 and a half, I'm like, all right, I can have another glass.
Yeah. But Riesling with like Szechuan or like really spicy
Okay.
Indian food is a fucking revolution. Honestly, seriously.
That I'm gonna do Friday night then.
Or like a northern Thai, like Isan, like really spicy Isan's Thai cuisine. Oh, it's amazing.
Got it.
All right, let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is in a retail store? How much would you be happy paying for this in a retail store? Well, they're very good. It's ageable, but it's delicious now. And it's a liter, not 750. What'd you call it? 35. 2020. Sarah, Margaret, Tyler, Andrew.
I would drink it too fast, but 35, I think is what Andrew said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, probably. I'd say like 30. Yeah, 30-ish esque.
Okay. And the winner is Phil Dahan. This would be $21 in a retail store.
Really?
$21.
I feel like these leaders are always like, here's a lot of wine, enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be that way, but like, also, oftentimes it's not this good. Like, I tasted this, I'm like, dude, this could be, this is as good as any other cabinet that you will come through. But because it's in a liter bottle, it's meant to be like, it just seems like it's like a pound juice, but it's not. So this were $7.50. This would be $15.75 in a retail store. Like, that's insane.
Is there even a wine that's like $15 right now?
Yeah, exactly. A liter.
Boxed wine isn't even $15.
Yeah, a liter of wine for $21 is fucking insane. And not only just $21, but liter wine of this quality. We call it very good, ageable for $21. This is, I don't know. It's as far as a value, bang for your buck goes. This is up there. I haven't seen this level of value in a while. So. Also, it's just fucking delicious. It's like,
And it would be good, like you in a really hot day, you take it to the beach, or you take it to the pool or something like that. You know, you don't have to. Yeah, it's like
honestly,
it's not too precious.
Yeah,
even though
honestly,
it tastes really good.
I would put fucking ice cubes on this thing and drink it on the beach in a pool in the summer. Like, it's delicious. It's low ABV. It's not gonna, you know. Sometimes when you drink, like it makes you wonder why you drink anything lighter or heavier than this. You know, like there's some.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. Any questions?
No.
Any thoughts? Any disagreements?
I have a question. So
Yeah.
if you age this for like 8 years, like you're talking about, what would it do to the freshness of the fruit? Would it hold up, or would it change
So
some?
hopefully, because we talked about medium plus intensity, some of the freshness will still be there, right? I mean, the point of aging is to really increase, not only increase twofold. One is to increase complexity. With the wines like this, really to increase complexity. But with some wines, it's because to actually soften the structure and phenolic side. So like Nebbiolo, like Piedmont, Barolo, Barbaresco, old school Barolos, where you can't even touch it for 10 years because it's so tannic, right? You just need all that tannin to kind of soften out. With this, obviously, you're not doing it for tannin reasons. You're doing it for flavor reasons. So the flavor, what you're trying to do is like, so wine's life cycle is kind of like this bell curve, right? Like apex in terms of complexity on the y-axis and then the time on the x-axis. So as it gets older, it gets more complex because a lot of that fresh fruit that you're holding on to, now some of that is going to start changing into a tertiary flavor. So you're going to start developing with this wine. I assume, or I presume that it's going to develop more petrol because I smell TDN. That TDN is precursor. Because of that smell of TDN initially, that's going to turn into this kind of like petrol-y gasoline. I know it sounds weird if you've never experienced it, but it's kind of a beautiful thing with the Riesling. Some of that the fruits will probably become a little bit drier. So like we may get like a orange skin, like a dried orange skin, some marmalade, some of those things popping up. And then you will still have some of that fresh leftover. So by the time you get to this peak complexity, the peak of the aging, you're gonna have fresh fruit and the fruit, non-fresh fruit, so like dry fruit, raisin fruit, maybe cooked fruit, along with now completely non-fruit flavors like petrol and other things added in, so making it even more complex. And then as a wine comes down on the aging on the back end, it actually becomes less complex. You lose a lot of that freshness and everything goes to the tertiary. Then now all you're left with is like, dried fruit, cooked fruit, and petrol. So like there's no freshness left over. So just because a wine is aged for a very long time does not mean it's good. Like you're basically trying to catch the wine right at the apex of the complexity, is what you're trying to do. So with this wine in 10 years, if I'm timing that correctly, I would assume that you will see different characters of fruit coming through and petrol coming through, more petrol coming through is what I was saying with this one. Any other questions? Do you guys normally, how do I ask this question? How do you normally feel about sugar in your wine? Like,
Well, so I was just going to say, when I go in, so now I have a better understanding of how to ask for Riesling, because when I go in, I'm sure the wine person, and these are knowledgeable folks, not just like in a rando wine store. When I say I want a dry Riesling, I don't want like sweet. I think I'm saying something very not very correct.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think dry means very, kind of a lot of acid, right? And their Rieslings have a lot of acid. So we just know that's the baseline, correct?
Right.
So how do you kind of, if you want something less sweet,
So dry means lack of sugar. So it has nothing to do
Oh,
with.
okay.
So
So see, I'm even asking it even more wrong.
Yeah, so if you're saying dry, dry Riesling exists. This style was not that, but dry
Right.
Riesling exists. So some can say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dana, we don't have any dry Riesling. We have the off-dry Riesling." Basically, what you can say if this style of Riesling is okay, is that I don't mind off-dry Rieslings. I don't mind a little bit of residual sugar as long as acid is kicking, or like acid. As long as there's an acid balance, like I don't mind a little bit of sugar on mine. You can't even say I don't want to go beyond Kabinett level.
Okay.
Now, if you were to say that to someone, like now, like I understand. I'm like, this person understands the reason. That registers in my head immediately. I'm like, okay, now I know exactly what she's talking.
Okay. Because half the time I don't know what I'm talking about. So, and they just usually hand me something really
you know
nice.
What you want, but it's just it's the
way you have to.
language.
Yeah. Especially for Riesling, I think, right? I mean, well, I'm sure for other wines, but they usually hand me a very nice bottle of Riesling, and I still don't know how to understand it. But tonight was very, very helpful.
Good.
And I took notes.
Yeah, awesome. How about the rest of you? I mean, I know this sugar in wine is a very touchy, sensitive topic for American wine drinkers. Like it really divides a camp. I'm actually a little surprised that everybody liked this wine because
I know I like this a lot. I don't. Yeah.
Thought it was going to split the room, quite frankly.
Well, probably the folks that weren't on would be the ones that didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys drink wine with the residual sugar often, or maybe not often, but like, is that something if you got it, you immediately you're like, no, I don't want this, or yeah, how do you? What is your relationship with the residual sugar in wine? I guess that's my question.
I mean, generally no, outside of like fortified wines, but like I know with a Riesling, if it has
Mhm.
sugar, I'm like, oh, okay, this could be, this could be interesting. But very rarely, I think would I ever seek
Yeah,
like sugar in a wine otherwise. So
I feel like if it's too sweet, it's not as refreshing. And if I'm
yeah,
drinking white wine, I usually want something that's like refreshing, and the
yeah.
sugar makes it more like heavy or syrupy or something that I don't want.
Sugar without acid, I would say absolutely. But do you think this is cloying? Like, do you think this one is cloying?
Mm-mm.
No, because I pounded it already.
Right? So it's really, again, the role of that. I mean, you and I have been talking about this acid thing all night.
Yeah.
Like, it's really that acid. Like, without that acid, this would be disgusting. Like, I would not want to drink this. But it's because that acid is ripping. I'm like, this is delicious. Like, I want to drink this. Yeah. As a somebody who spent 10 plus years in restaurants trying to convince everybody that you should drink more, you should not be afraid of wines with residual sugar. It's really the acid is what you're looking
Mhm.
for. And still not having really succeeded. Like, it's so hard to sell sweet wines in America. It's so hard. but maybe one glass at a time. I'm at least
Right.
glad that people were on the call tonight. And I know I have a lot of
Super
converted people in
super.
this wine club.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm at least with a handful of you tonight.
And you have a lot of folks too who have definite, very, palates that are super sophisticated.
Yeah, and then
I mean, and not to say I don't have a sophisticated palate, but you know what I mean? Like it, or, it's, this was really good. I liked it. I was surprised that I liked it. Although I like Riesling in general a lot.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
I didn't know what I was getting into until I read the notes.
Yeah, I mean, Riesling is my favorite grape variety for a reason.
Mhm.
And you got this. You can also get it completely dry. You can get a sparkling. You can get a still.
But
You
is
can
this
get
the only one in the box? So you're going to take us to another adventure next week?
Next week is vermouth.
Oh, I saw that and I put it out of the box this morning because at least I got my bottle chilled today.
Yeah, it's not only vermouth, but it's so delicious. That vermouth is so good. It's so good. If I wasn't thinking vermouth, honestly. That was actually, I gotta give credit where credit's due, which is actually my wine man, and he brought this vermouth with him, and then it's like, I don't know, this is really gonna fit into, or you want to do this, but he knows that I love vermouth. But it's like, dude, like, to me, if I'm thinking summer, something that like I just want to drink without overthinking it, it's vermouth.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what Spanish do. Like, if you ever been to Spain, like they
Mhm.
pound vermouth like
Yeah.
it's water. It's incredible, and it's so good. It's cheap. It's everywhere.
Yeah, Woong, my friend, lives in a very tiny town outside of Alicante, and so I sent
Yeah.
a picture of the vermouth, and she was like, "Oh my God, vermouth is all over everywhere. We have vermouth bars, we have
Yes.
vermouth, like it's just like fucking everywhere. It's like having a moment over there, apparently."
I mean, it's like not now. Like, they've had that moment
Oh,
for
okay. She's a married to a Spanish guy, so she's American, so she
Yeah.
probably doesn't know.
Right. And then
Yeah.
again, this is not the second time I'm featuring vermouth in the wine club, but yeah, like I change a lot of people's opinion about perspective about vermouth the first time, because for a lot of Americans, for us, like, when you think of vermouth, it's that fucking bottle that sits in a bar forever,
Mhm.
for like little martinis, Manhattan, like nobody touches it, nobody drinks it, right? We think it's like the shittiest thing, that like something that is like something you mix into a cocktail.
Right.
But when you actually taste vermouth on its own, it is so fucking good. Like, it is. Oh, I'm excited. If you've never had vermouth, if you've never been a vermouth drinker, next week may blow your mind. I'm just saying.
I'm so mad because next week I'm going to California and I'm gonna fucking miss Wednesday. And I don't, unless I check my bag and take the bottle with
To
me, which
travel
is
with a
not like
liter of
not
vermouth.
like what? But maybe can I find it in San Francisco?
Oh, probably.
Yeah, maybe I'll look for it because I'm getting there on Tuesday morning and I have like a lot of time around. So maybe that's what I'll do. And then but I still want to like participate because I want to just hear about it. So
Yeah.
depending on whether I find a bottle, well, anyways, I might be texting you
Okay.
when I'm out there in a wine store.
Yeah. So next week it's gonna be, I mean, it is wine, but it's a fortified wine. We're gonna drink it on the rocks,
Yeah.
maybe some splash of sparkling water, slice of
Mhm.
orange. It's gonna be that vibe, and it's
Yummy
gonna be
yum.
fucking great. It's gonna be awesome.
All
Yeah,
right, I'm gonna.
I turned my sister on to vermouth, and then now she goes through a bottle of vermouth a week. She's just
Really?
yeah. It's so good.
That's okay.
It's like the perfect thing to drink. And she's like, when I get home, I don't want to open up a whole bottle. I can just throw it in the fridge, and I can pour myself a glass, put it on the rocks, throw a little sparkling water.
Right,
It's
right.
like perfectly refreshing. It's delicious. It's not so high in alcohol that's gonna fuck me up. Like, I can still take care of
Mhm.
kids and do my thing. And she's like, I drink a bottle of vermouth a week because of you. I was like,
Look forward to next week, but we got a bolt.
Yeah, I
See
do
ya.
too.
so cool.
All right, bye. Thank
All
you.
right, have a good night.